Hey everyone, in this lecture we are going to learn the most important concept in computer, and that is encryption and decryption, or you can also call it as encrypt or decrypt. So before starting what is meant by encryption and what is meant by decryption, let's learn the basic concept related to encryption and decryption. Okay, so the things we know before starting encryption and decryption are the plain text, ciphertext, public key, and private key. Now let's see what is meant by plain text. Plain text is a readable, unencrypted message or text. Means a text which is readable to everyone, that is called as a plain text. Means it is in a readable form, that is anyone can read it, so that is called as a plain text. Now what is meant by ciphertext? Ciphertext is exactly opposite of a plain text. Plain text is a readable message and ciphertext is an unreadable message. Means a ciphertext is an unreadable encrypted message or text. When we perform encryption, the plain text is converted into ciphertext, and that is called as a encryption. And when we decrypt the message, then the ciphertext is again converted into plain text. I hope you understand both the terms. The plain text is a readable message or readable text, and the ciphertext is a unreadable message or unreadable text. Now what is meant by public key? So public key is used to encrypt the message at the sender's end. Suppose I am going to send a message to someone, then I am a sender, and I am sending a message to someone, then that someone is a receiver. Now here public key is used at the sender side, okay, and it is used to encrypt the message. Now what is meant by private key? Private key is used to decode or decrypt the encrypted data at the receiver's end. For example, I am going to send a message to someone, then I am a sender, and whom I am going to send the message, that someone is a receiver. Now what happened here? The message is sent from the sender side, and here a public key is used to encrypt that message. And when the message is received at the receiver side, then that time to decrypt or decode that message, a private key is used. So these are the basic terms. If you understand all these basic terms, then and then you can understand what is meant by encryption and what is decryption. Now let's see what is meant by encryption. So encryption is the process of converting a plain text into ciphertext. We already see that what is meant by plain text and what is meant by ciphertext. Now let me revise again. Plain text is a readable message or readable text, means anyone can read it. It is a simple plain text message. And ciphertext means it is a unreadable message or unreadable text. Now what is meant by encryption? It is a process of converting a plain text into a ciphertext, or we can also call it as it is a process of converting a readable message into an unreadable form. Okay, so that is called as a encryption. Now encryption is happen at the sender's end. Now let's see what is meant by decryption. So decryption is the process of converting a ciphertext into a plain text. Now here again opposite of encryption. Encryption is used to convert plain text into ciphertext, and decryption is the process of converting a ciphertext into a plain text. Or we can also call it as a decryption is a process of converting unreadable message into a readable form. Okay, so the decryption is a process which is happen at the receiver's end when a message arrives at the receiver side. So it is first decrypt, means converted into a readable form, and then it receives at the receiver's end. Now let's see how it happens. So here is a sender want to send a message to someone, we can call it as a receiver. So here is a sender sends a message, and that message is a plain text, means it is a readable message, it is a in the readable form. Now this message is encrypted, means it is converted into a unreadable form. means a plain text is converted into a ciphertext. Now what happened next? The encrypted message is also called as a ciphertext, means ciphertext we already seen, that is a unreadable message, that is called as a ciphertext. Now when the message receives at the receiver side, before receiving the message, the ciphertext is converted into a plain text, means a decryption process is happen. So here the ciphertext is converted into plain text and it receives at the receiver side. So this is a simple process of encryption and decryption. Now let's see the diagram. Here sender sends the message to receiver. After sending the message, the plain text is converted into ciphertext and this process is called as a encryption. Now ciphertext is an unreadable form. Ciphertext is in a unreadable form. Before receiving at the receiver side, the ciphertext is converted into a plain text and that is called as a decryption. The encryption, for encryption a public key is used and to decrypt the message a private key is used.